We're going to continue our talk of Venn diagrams and talk about surveys that have two sets. So let's jump into this word problem that says the Venn diagram represents the number of people covered by a company's health insurance policy. The set D is the set of dependents. The set F is the set of females. And we're going to find some just subsets of there and just find the cardinality. So we're only talking about how many. We don't care about the people's names. So this 90 represents 90 people. 235 is 235 people. So the same thing like that. So in A, we're going to figure out how many people were covered by the insurance policy. Then for part B, we'll talk about how many females were covered by the insurance policy. C, we're going to look at the number of males covered by the policy. Then in D, find out how many females are not dependents. And then the last one, E, the number of males that are dependents. Okay. So let's jump into this. So A says, find the number of people covered by the insurance policy. So that is our universal set. We want to add all the numbers that we see inside the box. So I had 235, 90, 78, and 317. So you can see the four numbers in the box and just add them all together and say that we had 720 people in this survey. Okay. Then set F is the number of females. So if I add up the 235 and the 90, which is my set F, is my females, it said we had 325 people that were females. All right. Then if I want to know how many people are males, I have two choices. I could go back and say, oh, we know there's 720 people and 325 are females, means the rest of them are men. Or we can say I have what's outside of the female circle, which is 317 and 78, which gives me 395. So either way, we'll get the same number. You can pick which way you'd like to do it. In D, I wanted to know how many of the females are not dependents. So the big circle, this is females. This intersection says also dependent. So only this 235 are females that are not dependents. In E, I said, let's look at the number of males that are dependents. So these are dependents. These 90 dependents are female, which says the other 78 then are men. Okay, so let's look at another one. And this time I just changed up the way it looks. This time I gave you the words without the Venn diagram to start. So I said this one is a medical school. It has 450 students. 285 are women, 125 are international students, and 42 of them are female international students. So how many of the men are not international students? Okay. Really probably will help us out, though, if we do draw a Venn diagram. So I'm letting the universe U go back to that total being surveyed, which is 450. And then I'm going to use W to represent the women. So that was 285. And then I'm going to use I to stand for international, and that's 125. Notice that I gave you, there were 42 that are female international students. That means there's an and in there. Even if I didn't write the word and, it's saying they're both, right? So both that W intersect I is 42. So I'm going to start out by trying to place these numbers over into the Venn diagram. As I do them, the numbers are going to change. I'm not going to see the 285, the 125, or the 450. The only number you're going to see me put directly into the Venn diagram is the 42. The 42 is that intersection of the women and the international students. As I start working my way backwards, though, those 42 people are already on the board, so I need to subtract them from any other number I place in there. So when I go to look at the international students, which should total 125, I've represented 42 already, so I need to say 125 minus 42 is 83. That says I have 42 international students that are women. I have 83 international students that are men. That total is 125 international students altogether. Same thing as I back up and look at the women. I have 285 in total, but I've already represented 42 of them. So I say 285 minus 42 is 243. So now I have that total of how many women are there altogether. Okay. What am I missing? I have 243, 42, and 83. That tells me how many I have right now, but I need to know, does that add up to my 450 altogether? So I just add those together, 243, 42, and 83, and I subtracted them from my universe of 450 and said I had 82 other people. My original question, if you want to pop back with me, said, how many of the men are not international students? Here we are. women, internationals. These are men that are not international. So I had 82 men that are not international students. Okay. Let's keep going and say, why don't you give it a try? Here's another just short survey question. And this is all stuff I looked up. So in the 2016 Lightning team, they had 29 players. 9 of them were Americans. 14 were acquired after 2012. And 18 players are Americans or were acquired after 2012. So I want you to draw a Venn diagram. That's part of the question. You've got to draw a Venn diagram. And then afterwards, I want you to determine how many players of the Lightning team were not American or acquired after 2012. And just to make this consistent for us, I want you to use A for American and T for players acquired after 2012. So pause me right now. Write all this stuff down, draw your pictures, and then come back and see how you did. So first thing I did is turn everything into symbols. So N of A is 9, N of T is 14, N of A union T was 18. And I could have written in there 2 for you, and I can write it right here if it helps. Just to remind you that N of U is 29 players. Okay, so what do I do? Well, I always want to start in the intersection. Notice I didn't give it to you, but you can easily find it. 9 and 14 added together is 23. 23 is bigger than the union I told you, and it's only 5 bigger, so that 5 tells me there's my intersection. Now this 5 is really important. I need to use it for every step I do after this. So when I go to put in 9 for A, I'm not going to put in 9. I'm going to put in 9 minus 5, which is 4. Okay. Same thing when I look at T. I'm not going to put in 14. I'm going to say 14 minus 5 is 9. That way 9 and 5 adds up to 14, 5 and 4 adds up to 9, and I have what I'm supposed to. Even you can check 4, 5, and 9 adds up to 18, which we said we should have. Okay. The other part that we are missing is there are 29 players altogether. So this 4, 5, and 9, which we said is 18, I subtract that from 29, it tells me 11. So 11 team members are not from America and were not acquired after 2012, which is